repairs later this week, and the brick is to be replaced in front of City Hall. So just some minor disruptions, but work that needs to be done. And that's it for us this evening, Your Worship.
Thank you very much. We're going to move to recreation and community safety. Councillor Lane, please.
Thank you, Your Worship. The first thing on our agenda tonight is the Frosty Festival additional city support request. The committee recommends approval to provide monetary support in the amount of $30,000 in year 2022 to assist with the planning of the 2023 Frosty Festival. This monetary support is outside of the MOU discussions ongoing and is considered a one-time funding. And I so move.
Moved by Councillor Lane, thank you, and seconded by Councillor Antle. Any thoughts, any comments? Deputy Mayor.
It's always great to see the Frosty Festival as part of our agenda, and we're coming into the season where this is an event in which an incredible amount of community support, volunteers come together to put off something in the city that is greatly needing it at a time, and certainly over the last couple of years where COVID has certainly played havoc on this particular event. It's very hopeful to see the work and support from our colleagues here, but also the volunteers that are stepping up to the plate once more after a very difficult time. And I think this is just relevant to anything when we look at a large scale event and the costs that we have seen, and knowing that organizations and all of us are looking at increases between venues, the equipment and the rentals, that this is something that we see and I certainly strongly support as an item that any way we can ensure our city has a Frosty Festival and somewhere to go and enjoy. And it's just, when we talk about things like what's going to support mental health and social determinants of health, celebrations and festivals are so important part of that. Just a feeling of sense of belonging. So I just wanted to make, again, throw my support towards this and certainly talk about it, but also just recognize that, you know, it's not easy coming from some challenging years for many volunteers who wanted to put this off and has been working hard and finally getting a chance to do so.
Yeah, I think you could sum this up as a lack of revenue the last couple of years, and yet some of the costs have still been incurred. So it's one-time funding, and we look forward to the festival resuming this particular winter. Any further comments, questions? Councillor Rice.
Yes, Your Worship. Just want to make a comment, like it seems like we're in times of increasing prices now on everything we look at. So even though we were just went through COVID, and we did incur a lot of costs, that we had bands booked and venues booked and areas, I guess, where we had to pay for it. And I guess this is a reflection of the money going forward. And, we're trying to streamline. I know this year they're trying to streamline, I think, the Frosty Festival regarding, I guess, cutting it back a few days. That was a comment, but I certainly support it as well. But I mean, I think it's a signature part of Mount Pearl regarding the Frosty Festival. I mean, it's something we can call our own. And I certainly support it, and I never want to see this, to leave our city. It's such a great event, and it's even my family, when my whole kids were growing up in the city, I mean, we attended many events, and I think it's really important to keep this going in the city. So I just want to put my support behind as well.
Further commentary? Hearing none, I'll call the question. All in favor? And those opposed? Carried.
Okay, the next on our agenda is the aquatics cancellations. So for the information of the public, a provincial swim meet is being held at the Summit Center on November 18th to the 20th, 2022. As a result, there will be aquatics cancellations. Further details will be available on the city website.
Bill, Councillor Antle.
Your Worship, and I got a couple of things, and all good news, as we're known as the Fun Committee. So less than 2 weeks' time, it's going to be the Santa Claus Parade. And this is the 67th annual Santa Claus Parade, and this is held by the Lions Club. The Lions Club have been running the Santa Claus Parade here in the city of Mount Pearl for the last 67 years. And I can remember when I was as a little guy, I think Docky Dodd used to be the president of the Lions Club at that time, and he was the head guy, and I think we just continue on. So I'm looking forward to see that on Saturday, December the 3rd, starting at 10 o'clock from the junior high, heading down Ruth Avenue, down Park Avenue, and stopping at Sobey Square, or the old Sobey Square. And we look forward to seeing everybody out for that. And continue with that on Saturday night at December the 3rd, just after the Santa Claus parade at 6 o'clock that night. We're going to light St. David's Park. Stay attuned to the city's website. It's going to be a great night. Some Christmas carols and some performances, and there'll be more information available on our website. So we look forward to see all the residents out on December the 3rd. And that's everything for us, Your Worship.
Well, thank you very much. December 3rd is going to be a very busy day. What happens if the weather's inclement that day?
They'd moved to Sunday. if I
To
remember
Sunday,
correctly.
is it? Okay, there's good news for everybody. Thank you. Now we're going to move on in the agenda to the next and final committee, Corporate Services and Public Works. Deputy Mayor Kiley, please.
Thank you, Your Worship. So for the first item on our agenda, it's invoices for approval. We have 5 items there that kind of identifies both the company, as well as a little bit more on the information. So you're seeing there is, as usually, our professional services with our accounting. You're seeing also our water consumption fees with regards to one of our regional shared services, of course. We've got Submerged landscaping, trees and shrubs, and trees and shrubs, as well as flooring installation. So pretty much clear cut when it comes to, pardon the pun, pretty clear cut when it comes to some of the invoices to be approved for payment. So I move, and the total there, just before I do that, I should say, is $544,379.46. And I so move.
Moved by Deputy Mayor Kiley, seconded by Councillor Antle. Any questions? Councillor Antle, yep, gotcha, thank you. All in favor? Contraminded? Carried.
I have a question.
Oh, I thought you were seconding. Yeah,
No,
please,
no,
no,
that
feel
was-
free.
Just on one note there, and I just happened to notice that there's a multitude of there for KD Pratt, all the same day. Is there any reason?
We're on the payment register.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no worries. Yep. All in favor? Those opposed? Motion carried. Yeah, no, I got you now. We're on the same page now. Yeah, sorry. Back to you, Deputy Mayor,
Thank you.
first.
So that leaves us our second motion, and certainly this is for the information in your kit, and that's for council regarding the following payment register between October 27th to November 8th, 2022. So that's a total of $1,689,065.24. And also the purchase card report for September 26th to October 25th, 2022, and that's a total of $194,714.25. So as you can see, there's vendor names as well as to date and total costs listed there. And if there's any questions or items, certainly happy to answer them at this time.
Councillor Antle, I believe.
Sorry about that. It was a note that I had to ask
Sure,
the
no worries.
question. I understand most of these why, but KD Pratt, they're all for the same day. Is there any reason?
KD Pratt under the K. I suspect that safety. Who's able to,
I'm going to
Director?
defer that to
Antle.
our safety team. Yeah. If
There you
you'd
go.
like to-
Okay.
Or director. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So
Your Worship, these are charges underneath my department, planning, engineering, development. This is a facilities related charge. These are related to life safety inspections or the fire extinguisher inspections that were
Mhm.
completed annually. It doesn't necessarily mean all the work was done on that date. It just means that the invoice was dated that particular
and
date.
probably would include any upgrades or replacements of fire extinguishing equipment.
Anything on these inspections are done throughout, I believe, August through September.
So is this a yearly thing?
It's an annual inspection.
Okay.
Further questions, Councillor Fry?
Yes, Your Worship. I was going to ask a similar question. And I noticed on the purchase card, there's about 11 or 12 on the same date for, just lost it there for a second. for Circle K Irving for $88.63 on the
Circle
same day,
K.
the same expenditure for, I think it's 12 times. And also for Circle K on the same day, there's another probably 10 or 12 for $150, the exact same amount. Because it's the same amount, I'm just wondering if that may be a duplicate.
Who would like to answer that? Our manager of finance, please.
I believe those were gift cards for vehicles during the labor disruption. Some people didn't have key cards, so that's what we did. We just passed out several gift cards
Gotcha.
for Irving.
Mhm. Further questions, Councillor Rice?
Yes, so I'll make the same comment for Norman's contracting. The same thing there is for the 27th of October, 2022, 1,500. I guess that's to answer that question as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So the date that you're seeing there is the date that we make the payment. So that's why you're seeing so many on the same day.
Hmm.
But those Norman's contracting are landscaping deposit returns.
Okay.
So that's why you're seeing so many.
And the second question I got, it's I know this the reefer repair service is $614,837. 66 cents. That's I question that one. Why that is so high?
That is probably related to public works equipment. Director Dollamont.
Yeah, thank you. I could answer that one. So we were waiting on delivery of two pieces of equipment through reefer repair
Mhm.
through a tender that closed last year, and we finally received those two loaders, and that's
What it is. Okay.
that cost.
Thank you for clarification.
Okay. Moving on, and of course, the door is always open if there's subsequent questions, anytime on those invoices. On to hockey with Hart.
This is a wonderful agenda item as well. Happy to share a recommendation here. Hockey with Heart, the Mount Pearl Minor Hockey Association, obviously it's one of their incredible fundraisers that they do as not only an incredible sports association, but also offering incredible supports to our community. So the Corporate Services and Public Works Committee recommends approving a $1,000 donation to the Mount Pearl Blades Community Food Bank fundraiser. The money collected will be distributed to 3 community banks in Mount Pearl. And I just want to take an opportunity to absolutely thank
Excuse me.
Tana Clark, the special events director, and the entire team between the Mount Pearl Minor Hockey Association for putting this off.
Mm.
It's no easy endeavor. It's something they just literally do out of their heart. So Hockey with Heart is an incredible name for that. To date, the last time Tana had contacted us at council, they had raised $13,500, which is incredible. And this is such an important time to be doing that and giving. It can be a very difficult time during the holiday season. So it's an incredible job well done. And certainly as someone around this table, I'm sure I'm speaking for many of us, all of us here, we're happy to offer a donation to this worthy cause. And I so move.
Moved by the Deputy Mayor and also seconded again by Councillor Antle. Questions, thoughts? Hearing none, I'll call the question. All in favor? Contrary-minded? Carried.
And that leaves us to our public works status update. So happy to share all of the comings and goings and actions taking place right now in our city. And this is we had a quick discussion with our director, Dollamont, who said that this is actually items that we are dealing with right now. So this is the most current activities that are happening across Mount Pearl. Work is underway with the Christmas parade float, most importantly, if everyone's wondering. Work is underway with the Christmas lighting at the City Hall at St. David's Park. I just heard from a resident who is loving already seeing people working on it and seeing the lights go up, being tested. All Canada mailbox locations have been inspected by public works staff and cleanup repairs are satisfactory. We're ensuring this, that when it comes to any potential winter damage and all those sort of things, that as much as we can prevent that this year as possible and be on top of it, we will be. There's also, of course, ongoing the urban forestry plan, which is the phase 1 to that. So that's the tree and shrub planting, and that will be completed soon. You can probably see some groundwork underway for ice rinks, and the rink liners have been ordered. The playground structure on Florida Crescent has been removed regarding safety concerns, and replacement is being planned. But like everything else right now, ordering and ensuring what we have for this is going to take some time. But first and foremost is safety. So that is why we have made the, I think the safe choice to remove that. There's asphalt, curb, sidewalk, and catch basin repairs that are nearing completion for 2022. We're almost past that for this year. Winter equipment maintenance and preparation is ongoing, along with winter seasonal staff being scheduled to be recalled on December 5th. Winter shift schedules for 22-23 are going to be commencing November 14th. We're in the season, folks. There's also recruitment underway for hiring heavy equipment operators. And of course, our leak detection is ongoing throughout, no matter what season it is, as well as our water levels are listed here, just if anyone wants to look at in our kits here as of November 7th, and our note up below. What can we say on behalf of the team is it's looking exactly where it needs to be, and pretty common in where it is, its level during this time of year. And that is it for that report. And that leads me to my, if there's no questions.
Any questions? Director Dalamont, if you don't mind, excuse me, Deputy Mayor.
Sure.
Winter equipment, are we ready? It's just around the corner.
Absolutely.
I knew you'd say that, but I had to ask because I think everybody's anticipating that during the month of November, we're going to switch from cold, rainy days to freezing, wintry type days any day now. So normally this time of the year, the planning has already begun, and the execution of the plan, I guess, in the maintenance shop is well at hand.
Absolutely. Well, for us, it kind of never ends. Even during the summer months, we're going through our winter equipment. It's never ending, so we're always prepared for it. Our mechanical staff and mechanical supervisor, I get a daily report on what equipment is actually up and down, and that is sent out to myself and the superintendent and all the supervisors to know what equipment is available 24 hours, 7 days a week.
So we're ready to go. The salt shed is full.
Salt shed is full.
Good to hear. Councillor Antle. Sorry, Deputy Mayor.
Just on that note, I know you're saying got everything ready, and I know we're really ahead of it. The groomer, is that ready?
Oh, we're really thinking.
Yeah,
down
so
the road.
we heard people talking about the groomers all the time. I mean, that's, as you know, Director Rental had that last year, and I think that was very popular. Everybody wanted the trails groomer.
We liked it so much. We have two.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, so clarify that. We do have our new side by side, and we do have our new groomer. There's two separate pieces there.
Mhm.
So for this year, we will have two side by side that are available. Get it better there, and we have a brand new groomer as well that's ready to roll in the event that we do get stopped.
We expanding our trails clearing this
I
year?
was going to ask that.
I don't know about expanding, but we're looking at options and see,
All in favor? Yeah, I guess that's going to be the expectation, Councillor Antle, in the community, two groomers. But I know part of it, you're using one as a contingency in case you have to do maintenance or you have a breakdown of the other one, because that happened 2 years ago, I think, with the groomer.
Yes, that's the downfall of having one, and you create that trail system, and to keep that maintenance up the way it is, it's important to have the spare. But not only is it used for trail cleaning, we're dumping garbage bins and everything along the way. We're doing trail trimming as required. It's multi-purpose. It's not only for the trail room.
Okay, I'm going to go back now. Thanks, everybody, to the Deputy Mayor.
Thank you, Your Worship. And I second our director's confidence and very clear explanation around being winter ready. And I know that Councillor Bill had mentioned that the community and safety committee is known as the fun committee. Well, we would be considered the cool and calm committee, because like I said, we plan for A, B, and C, but also cool committee for short.
Cool is
Just
good.
wanted to say.
Cool is good.
But it just to demonstrate it's been we're a committee that looks at it's very actually I'm in awe with the amount of planning and work and development that goes into a plan. And it's one of those things that just happens and nothing without a sense of, I think, a expertise lens and action with careful thought and planning. It happens by accident. So yeah, I think we are more than ready, and I'm very confident in that. Let's hope that our winter agrees with us. Like everything, there's always that item, and especially when we talk about climate change. But I'm happy to hear all of the work we're doing to as much as we can mitigate those things. That leads me to my last item, which is professional development request. Number 5. The AWWC Aging Well, Protecting Our Infrastructure, November 26th to November 30th, 2022, which is very appropriate considering the conversations we've had around the table. The Corporate Services and Public Works Committee recommends approval for Councillor Rice and the Director of Planning and Engineering Development, PED, to attend the American Waterworks Conference, Aging Well, Protecting Our Infrastructure. And it'll be held in Orlando, Florida from November 26th to 30th of this year. And the cost is in accordance with our professional development budget. And I so move.
It is moved again by the Deputy Mayor and seconded by Councillor Anto. All in favor? Those
Aye.
opposed? Motion carried. Thank you.
And that is the final item for my report, Your Worship.
Good stuff. So now we're going to do the round table, and we start tonight with Councillor Lane.
Thank you, Your Worship. Just a few things from me. Oh. Okay. So I just want to take a moment to talk about the Remembrance Day ceremony and parade that happened on this past Friday. So I was happy to attend that along with my colleagues. It's such an important day, and it was great to see such a huge turnout this year. There's people there, young and old, and everyone was there to commemorate and pay their respects to those who fought for us. So it was truly great to be there again this year. Also coming up now, we have our award for the Mount Pearl Soccer Association. So I'm just going to highlight a couple. So congratulations to Coach Phil Malloy, who has been awarded Coach of the Year. Congratulations to Mary Lou Aylward on being awarded the 2022 Mount Pearl Soccer Association Dave LeGros Female Youth of the Year. And congratulations to Quinn Norman, who is recipient of this year's Neil Bodman Youth Male Athlete of the Year. And that's just to highlight a few, but there's many more, and they're all very much deserving. So congratulations to everyone involved in that. And that's it for me this evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Lane. Over to you, Councillor Fry.
Thank you, Your Worship. I have a question for Director Dollymont, actually. We were talking about the trails, and I know a couple of people have been inquiring about the Powers Pond lighting. Some lighting has been out, so I'm just wondering if we can get an update on that.
Yeah, so when we thank you, when we looked into it. there
Is the mic
seemed to be
on?
an Electrical power supply issue. So that's, I reached out to our team with the.
Sorry. Is your mic on? Yep. Okay. Thank you. Yep. Sorry, Glenn.
I reached out to our colleagues with the PED department, and that they're going to have our electrical contractor look into it, but there was an issue with the lighting on the trail.
Good to hear it's going to be back up soon. And now that the days are getting shorter, we need that. Okay, just a couple of things for me, Your Worship. Upcoming on November the 23rd, the Mount Pearl Community Supper will be resuming, and it's going to be takeout only from the Church of the Good Shepherd from 5 to 6 p.m. And that's a hot meal for anybody who may need it. I would also like to mention the food drive. I think it's fantastic what they've done, and special thanks to Tana Clark and her entire team, because it's not just what they raise for the food bank, it's also the skills that they're instilling in our youth when it comes to volunteerism. And, to go above and beyond like that is certainly something that deserves to be acknowledged. As well, from November the 2nd to the 5th, a number of us attended the Municipalities Newfoundland Labrador Conference in Gander. And this event, I'm so grateful to have been able to attend because there was discussion and debate on so many important issues such as infrastructure and clean drinking water and housing, climate change, and so many others. And of course, the networking that comes from it is the most valuable. But one session in particular that caught my attention was one that was offered by Brian Button, who's the mayor of Port aux Basques, and Barry Manuel, who is the mayor of Grand Falls, Windsor. And they were talking about the disasters, the fires in Central, as well as the Hurricane Fiona in Port aux Basques. And some of the statistics that they were talking about, like with the fires on August the 6th, the forest fires were 26 kilometers away from Grand Falls, Windsor, which is not far, 26 kilometers from your entire municipality. And it was projected to be within 15 kilometers by August the 7th. So that was, I think that kind of puts things into perspective and reality. And they talked about their experience, and they said communication was the key, like communicating with all of the independent groups and the different levels of government. So I thought that was really interesting. And of course, Port aux Basques is one that we're all familiar with, but for a population of just over 4,000, they had 91 displaced residents. And, you kind of shake your head and you see pictures on TV and you hear about it, but until you see the images and hear from him speaking directly, it really hits at home. He said they have 85 homes that were lost or destroyed with demolition orders. So 85 homes in a small community like that, it's really something. 55 homes with moderate to low damage, and 63 private sewer outfalls have been damaged and need to be replaced. So for all of the work that they have to do and all of the repairing and rebuilding that they have to do, it's really nice. And I hope residents realize that all of the support that has been given their way is certainly well needed. But it was a great conference, and I was really, really pleased and grateful to have been able to attend. And that's it for me this evening, Your Worship.
Thank you much, Deputy Mayor Kiley.
Thank you, Your Worship. Just to comment and add so much to the MNL conference I find every year, there's so much you can take home with you. And as a, one of many municipal councillors and those that are doing work in all sorts of municipalities, one of the things I see a value of that is having an opportunity to not only know the challenges that people are facing, but also the solutions and some of the items. And one other kind of, a takeaway, in addition to, I think, what Councillor Fry has really demonstrated, which is really understanding the impact of climate change, really understanding the impact of this is now at our doorsteps. Was a lot of sessions this year is about policy development with gender-based analysis. And it was really great to see the benefit of having a social lens and a gender-based lens on how that can even affect every aspect of work. And even when it comes to items like infrastructure, climate change, and development. And it was one of those things that as you move forward and you recognize that we as a council and we as a city are always moving forward and we're leading the way. There was many times where our municipality and the City of Mount Pearl was proudly identified as an organization that has taken the lead around progressive policy development and ensuring a lens of inclusion and diversity and accessibility. And many times we were mentioned, but also there's lots more to go. That's what we're all just defining of. And I'm really happy to hear the next parts of what's to come from that conference with training, development, and that's going to make us all do better work in our jobs. So I just wanted to talk about that item too. And I can't express enough how these opportunities are a benefit for everybody.
But another show of leadership by the city was in another session too that we led, which was the call for a gender-based analysis plus.
Absolutely.
Which was a really nice initial discussion, probably very novel at the municipal sector. So I'm glad we were able to initiate that and participate. And I thought it was a wholesome discussion, and there's more to come on that file.
Absolutely. And you could tell by the questions posed that people are thinking about it and ready to move on it, of what that looks like and the benefits of that. And there are many. My second item and last there is I want to talk about the 5th annual Santa for Seniors. Is up and running, and basically each year there are many seniors in our community that will spend the holidays lonely. Loneliness and mental health is something that we have talked about at within our circle here, within our committee work. And it's a major issue. It really is. And this is certainly a community endeavor that tries to address that. And this program is lifting the weight a little, I believe, off, by offering some care and connection along with a gift to our seniors. So right now, there is an incredible group of community volunteers that get together, and they are collecting everything from, gloves, socks, hats, gift certificates, etc. Anything you think would be a nice little a gift for a senior that's feeling isolated and alone. And they are being compiled at the St. Vincent de Paul Association in Mount Pearl. And if you truly are in a position of privilege to donate, I ask you to and consider it as a part of your donations this year. If you are a person that you feel could benefit from this, or a person, please reach out to the St. Vincent de Paul and connect the person. And as a personal message, I feel like I will never forget a lot of when we had canvassed, and I think all of our colleagues have talked about being at certain doors, and you're talking to seniors that may or may not have returned to services or programs or had very little contact since COVID, since a long time. And so for anyone of a resident and people in your neighborhoods, just check on your neighbors and reach out even on that level during this time. And especially those that have members that can no longer check on them, family members, whether they're living in another community or not able to access them, or some folks whose partner has died over the past couple of years. And I think we all can think about a house, we all can think about a person, and just take that time. And this is a great resource. This is a community endeavor, and it shows that things like mental health, loneliness there is a role for us to play here. And here is a great way for us to address some of that in a little way and just lift the weight during what can be a really hard season for folks.
Councillor Antle, thanks, Deputy Mayor.
Your Worship, I only got a couple of things. One is a sad item, and it has to do with Mount Pearl Soccer. Yesterday, we lost a giant here in Mount Pearl. Try not to get emotional, but we lost Herb Jenkins. I think most of us here all know Herb, right? And I can go on and talk about the accolades, everything that Herb has done. But when you talk to the kids that he coached, and that's where you really find out what a role model Herb always has. And the kids talk about how we used to teach them how to play soccer, but he taught them, how to do things right. And, Herb's going to be certainly missed in the city of Mount Pearl. And I won't go on to everything else. We'll talk about everything else after that. Also with soccer this week, they had their Craig Dyer became the president of Mount Pearl Soccer. And, I think that's Craig has a big shoes to fill, and I know he'll do a great job at that. And we get to see them Saturday night at the Mount Pearl Soccer Association, their award ceremony is Saturday night. So it's a little different week for Mount Pearl Soccer. So they'll be in our thoughts. Also, just a little update, the Mount Pearl swimming pool. We have sensory friendly swims every Saturday evening. So you should keep that in mind. It's something that you can always drop by and enjoy that. And just a quick note, as we all know, we all love our trails in Mount Pearl. And please remember to pick up after your pet. The bags are available, but I tell you, it's still a lot of residents don't pick up after the pets, and it's a little bit annoying. And thank you very much, Your Worship.
Thank you very much. Moving to you, Councillor Rice.
Thank you, Your Worship. Just a couple of things for me. I think most of the stuff I was going to mention is already mentioned by the rest of my councillors. So just want to add the about the Lions Club Santa Claus Parade, I want to say about a little comment on that one. So that's happening on December the 3rd. And we usually start that one at 10 a.m. And there's a couple of comments came back from a few residents regarding traffic that will be speeding back and forth there on that. So I guess we'll take actions, what we're going to do to control the traffic starting there with that. But I guess groups got to get there as well too, so they can participate in that. Second one I want to add is want to talk about the Hockey with Heart. There's a great community drive, and I got a comment also. I mean, there's a great initiative for the kids, and this kind of initiative in the community is so important for role modeling for our kids and show, to give back to the community. Really, really important. So congratulations. I'm looking forward to the presentation later on tonight from Tanya, and they do a great job. All the crew that participated in that certainly do a good job. And it's too bad that we had M&L the same weekend as that. But I just want to say, they do great work. The next one I want to comment on is Deputy Mayor Cawley mentioned a good point about seniors, and one thing I want to comment on is that I know the loneliness part and the missing, and they need company and stuff like that. But also, one of the big things I find now, the cost of living. It's certainly increasing. We even heard stories coming from the past week about the price of even lettuce being taken off the market because it's gone up to $7, $8 a head. And people can't afford it, and so be very mindful around the community. And I guess what I'm trying to add here, or trying to express interest, is to be mindful of people in the community that need your help and need our help. And if there's anybody, businesses or communities, and we got the Christmas season coming on us up now, so sometimes the food hampers and the donations can go to single parents, needy families, and there's also resources through our provincial government funding and our federal government funding for to help anybody that's in need. So I just wanted to put that out there as well. And the last thing I want to say a big congratulations to the 125. This was a Premier's Athletic Awards honors that happened yesterday. So 125 of the top athletes recognized around the province for the 18th annual Premier's Athletic Award in St. John's. A lot of money and awards were handed out. But I want to say a special, announcement or attachment to all the Mount Pearl recipients who had those awards. I'm not going to name them all off, but there was a lot of them from all different areas of Mount Pearl. And it's so good to see, the provincial government giving back some funding to the athletes that put a lot of their own funding, and a lot of the parents that put a lot of funding into those kids to get them where they are today. So just want to add that as well. So thank you, Your Worship. That's it for me.
Good stuff. Thanks, everybody. Great meeting. I also want to say thank you to, we have some, not visitors, but some very other important management staff here today who are very active at the committee level and don't always appear in the chamber, but I'm glad to welcome Janice Mullins, our HR manager. Stephanie Hines, of course, is our budget manager these days, but she goes by finance manager throughout the rest of the year. And of course, our superintendent of enforcement, Blair Tilley, who are here today subbing in for directors Pittman and Collins. And of course, Councillor Locke is away as well. So we look forward to seeing them all return in the next week or two. But I want to welcome you and thank you for your attendance here today. Appreciate it. Yes, soccer, Councillor Anthony, you mentioned the Mount Pearl Soccer Association is celebrating its 50th year. And if I know Herb Jenkins, Herb would say, don't you dare mention a thing about me. Carry on. I do know today at Tim Hortons around 2:00, there was an empty seat. Where the Soccer Hall of Fame, some of the members get together every Tuesday for a tea or coffee, and Herb Jenkins was a big part of that. But despite all the accolades on the soccer side, which are very well founded, because Herb's a member of the Mount Pearl Soccer Hall of Fame, as well as the Newfoundland and Labrador Soccer Hall of Fame. Herb was never really worried or concerned about the result. It was all about the journey. And he always made sure we did it the right way. I played softball with Herb, and we always had fun together. And it wasn't about the competition, but it wasn't winning at all cost. He was a true gentleman. And people may not know this. Herb ran for mayor several years ago and did quite well. Obviously, he didn't win that particular contest, but he always gave everything his best shot. He's a true mentor and leader here in the community. And to his wife, Loretta, or Lol, as they call her, and to his son, Terry, our deepest condolences. And on that heartfelt note, I'm going to call for a motion to adjourn and say goodnight to everybody. On motion from Councillor